Hi everyone. Today we are turning our heads towards Love Runs Blind,
Hmm.
and that is kind of synonymous with Ayub Bachchu, or
Hmm.
I don't know how he is pronounced, Ayub Bachchu, or please correct us. And the track is called Ekdin Ghum Vanga Shohore.
Sure.
My pronunciation is very bad. I'm very sorry. I'm
Hmm.
not as good as Ahmad, uh, who I just don't understand how he gets the pronunciation correctly. I mean,
Me neither.
no
I don't
idea.
get it.
All right, so it's a God's gift.
Hmm.
All right. Anyways, so we know that Ayub Bachchu. First of all, he has been immensely recommended. He has been called guitar god, one of the greatest guitarists of subcontinent, um, one of the most popular pop artists, rock
Hmm.
star. All those adjectives that you can find can be
Hmm.
up can be applied to Ayub Bachchu, right?
Hmm.
So we thought the thing is that why we couldn't get to him earlier and even now is because it's a rabbit hole that we just couldn't dive into,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
once you do, then it's very difficult to come out of.
Yeah.
And even now it's really difficult to get in there. But let's start the journey for
Let's
once,
begin this particular journey. Yeah. I
right?
think they have a lot of albums. LRB band itself.
Yeah, one before we move on, again we I mean, I cannot leave this out that this was very kindly translated
Translated.
and romanized
Hmm.
by Farzana Sain, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much once again.
And I mean, we get humbled by your kindness and all the other people. I mean, this has been done by a lot of
A
people,
lot of people.
and this just humbles us
Yeah.
to, I mean, all
Thank
right.
you so much.
So,
Thank you so much for this, for putting in this much effort. Yeah. This is phenomenal.
absolutely. All right. So, we get into it.
Yep. Let's start.
All right. Three, two, one, go.
Yeah.
একদিন ঘুম ভাঙা শহরে মায়াবী সন্ধ্যায় চাঁদ জাগা এক রাতে একটি কিশোর ছেলে একাকী স্বপ্ন দেখে হাসি আর গানে সুখে ছবি আঁকে আহা কি যে সুখ একদিন ঘুম ভাঙা শহরে মায়াবী সন্ধ্যায় চাঁদ জাগা এক রাতে
Very retro 90s feel.
Yeah.
Classic.
The guitar riffs in the background are very 90s, like you are right.
Signature.
Signature, yeah.
স্বপ্নরা হারিয়ে যায় সময়ে সাগরে দেখার আবিরে কবিতা আধারে হারা ভাবনার ফুল ঝরে ঝরে যায় জীবনের গান হয় না সুরে গাওয়া একদিন ঘুম ভাঙা শহরে মায়াবী সন্ধ্যায় জাদু জাগা এক রাতে
The skis.
ছবি সব বিমূর্ত হয় যায় না বোঝা যায় না আশার ঝর্ণা পায় না সুখের ঠিকানা হতাশা শুধু সাথী হয়ে যায় সে কিশোরে বা জীবন ছেড়ে পালায় একদিন ঘুম ভাঙা শহরে
I like the keys in the
মায়াবী সন্ধ্যা চাঁদ জাগা এক রাতে একটি কিশোর ছেলে একাকী স্বপ্ন দেখে হাসি আর গানে সুখে ছবি আঁকে আহা কি যে সুখ
Whew. All right. There were so many thoughts that I had during the song that I just didn't want to say. I just didn't want to say during the song because that was a journey.
Yeah. True.
All right. So I'm gonna start before I forget. I mean there's a list and it will like keep getting out. So first of all, I thought that there was a lot of similarities in vocal styles of Mizan Rahman.
I think, yeah,
I feel
Mizan.
like
Yeah, you're right.
maybe. I mean, maybe I think a lot of the musicians are inspired by him, so
Many,
there might be some inspiration, right?
many.
That was something that I felt maybe. The second thing about the song that I loved the most was the rhythm guitars.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
rhythm guitar was just amazing,
yeah.
just amazing. I felt that I think this came out in 1991,
Hmm.
as far as I've read, and this feels so ahead of time for 1991. I don't know how this was perceived. I can imagine how this must have been perceived in Bangladesh at that time, but yeah, the keys gave it away, right? The keys was very 90s,
Very 90s,
super
very
90s.
90s. Yeah.
Also, the vocals had this 90s feel. The very there was a way of singing in
Hmm.
90s,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And it had that essence, very strong essence.
Yeah.
The guitar work, the lead one, the the melody on the lead one was very beautiful. I mean, very complimentary to the vocals. But the what stole the show for me was the rhythm guitars.
The constant rhythm guitar in the back.
The rhythm was beautiful. I mean, the rhythm was they just you it wouldn't let me breathe
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
I
True.
I felt like
True.
if I took a long breath, a deep breath, I would lose the rhythm.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
that kind of right.
You were right. There were no vacuums, as you mentioned in one of the tracks
Yeah,
of Karakoram. The
yeah,
rhythm guitar was constantly playing throughout the particular track, and it kept you on the hook. So you just
absolutely.
can't. Yeah, that was the beauty of this particular song. You were spot on about it.
I mean, even if my head or my upper body would stop moving, my legs would be doing this with the rhythm, under the table.
Yeah.
It was that
Oh,
kind of rhythm.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are in no position to basically explain this particular song. You mentioned it perfectly that this was probably ahead of its time. I mean, this particular track would have worked wonders. It would have done wonders as well, and I think it would have been acknowledged quite late. When he did this particular track back in '91, I don't know how it was perceived either, but I think it was acknowledged way
I
back.
I think it would have been an instant hit first of all,
Hmm.
and I think because of the lyrics. So from what I get from the lyrics, my own interpretation is that it's describing the journey of adolescence,
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
kid turning into an adult, maybe
Yeah.
the happiness, the anxieties, the adulthood,
Hmm.
the problems and the struggles of adulthood and all.
Yeah.
This was the lyrics, and this is why I think that when this song must have, I mean, came out, this must have been an instant hit with the college students or the adolescents, like the people from high school, O levels, or
Hmm.
whatever you have at matriculation, the ninth or
Hmm.
eighth or uh,
Hmm.
10th grade folks, early university folks, maybe university folks, right? They're also getting to adulthood. This must have been an instant hit. They must feel so relevant. They
Hmm.
must relate to this song
Because of
so
the
much.
message. Yeah.
I can totally imagine. And again, the rhythm was such that it requires the energy of the youth.
Yeah.
So it must have resonated with that kind of energy when you have that kind of energy in the youth. So when you're 16 to somewhere between 24
Hmm.
ish, that
Hmm.
you have this energy that you need to let out. You need
Yeah.
to you don't afterwards you try to conserve it, but at that age you need to let it out.
Yeah.
And this I think this kind of music provides a perfect opportunity, the perfect outlet to express, to relieve
Hmm.
your energy, your anxieties, your emotions at that time,
Hmm.
because the emotions, you have less amount of blood and more amount of hormones,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, but this is what I think.
The message of this particular track is kind of a reality check. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
feels, as you mentioned, when you are young, you have a lot of hope, a lot of dreams, and then reality hits you, and you you realize that it's not all beautiful and all colorful.
bed
The
of
life,
roses.
yeah, it's the life is not bed of roses. So, I mean, the message itself, as you mentioned, would have resonated with a lot of folks, a lot of teenagers, as well as the people in mid 30s as well. It would have hit hard to
Yeah,
those
what's
people as
happening to us?
yeah, it was complete journey. I mean, you remember in um, Coke Studios track Denotor Utsav, there was a clip of the metal guitar, a memorial
Yeah, yeah,
in his
yeah, yeah,
memory.
yeah. And
So
people told us that it was a memorial for
memorial,
Ayub,
Ayub.
right? And then I checked it out separately as well,
Mm,
and how fitting. So this is something that I also want to mention, especially. I'm going on a tangent,
mm.
but the way a nation regards their artists and their
Artist.
heroes
Mm.
defines what kind of nation you become,
Yeah.
right? So if you are revering, I mean, Ayub Bachchu is revered
Yeah.
by maybe three generations more,
He has
maybe more.
inspired a lot of lot of people.
He has probably inspired maybe four or five generation of musicians,
Yeah.
but also he's revered by, I don't know, four or five generations of people as well, right?
Yep. Yep.
Revered, absolutely revered, and we can see that from our comments and from recommendations. And this is what I want to mention, that you, when you revere someone and then you erect monuments
Mm.
for these kind of people, this is what uh, defines a nation. This is what shapes a society, a nation,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
yeah, and I mean, what a society it's turning out to be, what a nation, what an economy, and everything. What it's turning out to
Mm.
be. It's very evident. We are very proud. We are very happy that this is how they're progressing, and
Yeah.
it's an example for other countries in this region.
Yeah. True. True. I think you have summed it up pretty well. Absolutely. I mean, um, the way I can imagine, because the LRB has around 12 or 13 albums, if I read it correctly. And I still see bands covering their track, and the kind of humility, the humbleness that they show towards Ayub is evident. Recently, I think you shared one track with me from Oni Hassan. He was doing a cover, right?
Yes,
So they
yes,
still remember him, they still love him the same way, the respect that they have for him. And I
fatherly
mean,
figure.
fatherly figure for them. He inspired generation of musicians. And not only
And
him,
not only generations
even
yeah,
yeah,
probably not only he inspired them but also supported them, I think.
supported them.
From what I've heard and from what I've seen, how Onias and other musicians revere him
Mm,
is, I mean, he must have hold their hands when
yeah,
they were beginning their musical journey, right? A lot of
yeah.
bands. So yeah, you're totally right.
Amazing. But I think this was a good start for us from LRB's side. But I haven't heard any other track as you mentioned, because this would be a rabbit hole. But I think we are.
No, what we can do is ask our audience that first of all tell us which song is your favorite from Ayub
Mm,
Bachchu and
mhm.
why. So
Yeah.
don't just mention this is the link of the song, right? Tell us
Yep. Yep.
why.
Why
Tell
do
us
you like it?
why,
Yeah.
right? So when you go in blind into an experience like this one, right?
Mm.
Again, I've said this multiple times that it takes a certain amount of hearing, sometimes two, sometimes five, sometimes 10, to unpack all
Yep.
the layers, right?
Yep.
For me, I mean, in the first go, I mean, it was all rhythms, all rhythms.
Mm.
I could
Mm.
appreciate the lead guitars, I think done by Ayub Bachchu as well.
Mm.
Melody, the voice, his voice
Yeah.
as well. Like
Yeah.
it had a lot of strength,
Mm.
power,
Mm.
a lot of power, right? But tell us why it's your favorite, and when we know some context going
Yeah.
into an experience, that enhances the experience so much more.
Yep. And stuff.
That also goes for narrative and lyrics and all, but maybe I will not ask for narratives or something. I will ask you why it's your
Why?
favorite.
That would be more than enough for us to understand
Yeah.
why public simply just adore him so much. Ah, this is going to be an amazing journey, I feel.
This was fun. Yeah, this was
Yeah.
fun.
All
Oh,
right. Let's conclude it here. Thank you so much for many people suggested this particular track. Thank you so much for sharing your loved tracks or cherished tracks with us, and keep recommending us such tracks again and again. And Until then, take care of yourself, and we will see you on the next one then. Take care. Goodbye.